Hello and welcome to 2026. My name is Odell and this is my weekly update. This week, as you all know, was New Year's week, and I spent a lot of time this week thinking about past New Year's. All those New Year's when I was a kid, and every year my parents would have a great big New Year's Eve party and invite friends of theirs who also had kids and so had no place to go. Each year we'd have a big party with tons of food, including a 6-foot long submarine sandwich from Vitello's Italian food restaurant in North Hollywood, California. We also often had a 6-foot long meatball sandwich from the same place. It was wonderful. We broke the house into different sections. Out in the garage, we had two 35mm projectors and a projection booth like a regular movie theater, where my father would borrow movies from his friends at the various motion picture studios nearby, and we would have recently released movies in the garage. In the front room, we had a 16mm projector set up. We would run other movies. I remember watching Gone with the Wind in there one year. And so we would see those. We also had various gaming centers set up throughout the house. Some, what today we would call gaming centers, the new computers that had just come out. Others were actual arcade games, like my mother owned a Ms. Pac-Man machine, and people would play that all night long. That one, of course, cost a quarter every time we played it. And it was great fun for all. So, also thought back to Christmas morning, or New Year's mornings as an adult at the Boreas Bed and Breakfast in Long Beach, Washington. They're no longer in business, though. Each New Year's, they would have a wonderful New Year's breakfast featuring crab cakes that they made and the wonderful fare that they always serve. So it was a wonderful time. And of course, I thought about probably the biggest New Year's of all, the Y2K New Year, and sleeping through it. I was one of hordes of computer programmers who worked very hard for years updating people's software so Y2K would not be the disaster it was predicted to be, and was able to just rest right through it. So, this week I've been working on onboarding with my new company. I start work on there full-time on Monday. I'm looking forward to that very much. I have been working on developing my new vocabulary for the job. I need to learn the phrases and terms used in credit card processing and how that works. So I've been learning terms like acquirer and issuer and PAN, tokenize, and other terms that are used in that industry. So I will be able to talk the language when I get there. I've also spent a good deal of time setting up my home computer system so it will be able to handle two laptops at the same time. I have my personal laptop that I'm recording this on, and I also will now have a work laptop, which arrived on Friday. I have my system set up now where I only need one keyboard, one mouse, one screen, and I have a button on my desktop. One changes which laptop gets to talk to the screen. The other changes which laptop gets to talk to the different computer peripherals I have using USB, like the keyboard, mouse, and other things. So that's all set and ready to go. I also have a hard drive hooked up to the USB so that I can easily transfer files from one system to the other. And I'm looking forward to my new job. Thinking back to jobs, I thought back to my very first job, which was back in 1974. I was getting ready for a family tradition where when every one of us turns 13 years old, we would take a trip back to Middletown, New York to visit our great aunt, Aunt Constance. And part of the tradition was that each person would earn the money that the trip cost. So I had to get a job. And in 1974, I got a job at my father's film production studio. I ran a 16mm film processing machine in black and white, and I made, believe it or not, 50 cents an hour. And with that salary, I was able to save enough money to pay for my plane trip back to New York. I was very surprised when thinking about my new job, and I realized that, well, I'm not going to give up my salary here. I can say that in 1974, I was making 50 cents an hour. Well, today, I'm making more than that every minute. So inflation has certainly done its thing on us. But in any case, also, I published my second book this week. It's now available on Amazon. It's called The End of the Beginning and the Start of Eternity, if anyone wants to look it up. And so, I hope you all have a wonderful New Year, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.